Howdy, we are Group 19 and we're here to discuss campus lights. My name is Bryan McBride.
My name's Emily Sisk.
My name is Kevin Zhaung.
My name's Luke Curran.
My name's Nick Keller.
The purpose of our semester project was to demonstrate what we have learned in lecture and labs. We were supposed to show our ability to use a GPS to address a relevant research question. Group 19 chose to measure the sufficiency of campus lights around the central area of campus.
For our hypothesis, we said the greater the density of light fixtures in a given area, or the more lights there are, the safer the area on campus is for pedestrians during the dark hours. We determined at the closing times of popular student attractions, there will be a heavier flow of students walking on campus to get back to their dorms or wherever they need to go. Some of these popular attractions increase the flow of people walking around main pathways such as the MSC, Academic Plaza, Military Walk, Evans Library, and dorm areas. These hours that are pretty popular last from like 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and the non-popular hours are from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. and these are the less busy hours of night, but the lighting is still necessary during these hours.
Some similar studies on replacing old lamps with LED lights have been conducted at Princeton University, Austin Community College, and the University of Cincinnati. At Princeton University, they saw a decrease in annual electricity use by almost 200,000 kilowatt hours. At Austin Community College, they saw a reduction in energy consumption by 69%, and the University of Cincinnati saw a 24% decrease in crimes on and around campus.
The methods that we used to collect our data was to take a GPS point at each light that we found or could get to in each of our respective zones. Then we kind of roughly estimated the radius that each light was outputting and whether or not they were the efficient LED bulbs or crappy bulbs. We then mapped these points onto Google Earth to show the light density or the light pole density across main campus and what areas would be better or where should we put light poles.
We divided up campus into 5 zones where each person was assigned a zone to collect the coordinates of individual light fixtures. These zones were all within the boundaries of University Drive, Texas Avenue, George Bush Drive, and Welborn Road. We tagged this general area as Central Campus and determined that this area was generally most populated with students during the nighttime hours.
The parameters of Zone 1 were Bazell Street, New Main Drive, Texas Avenue, and University Drive, and we counted 177 street lamps in this zone. We noticed that all of the old lamps along New Main Drive, the bend on Bazell Street, and Lot 54 have already been replaced with LED lights, and because the ETB was recently built, the lamps surrounding that area are already up to date and are very well lit. The path between ETB and the bend on Bazell Street had several lamps that failed their test, and the area with the polo fields and the bonfire memorial had no lamps at all.
The parameters of Zone 2 were Bazell Street, New Main Drive, Texas Avenue, and George Bush Drive. These streets surround Texas A&M's golf course. We counted 90 lights in this zone. This zone was by far the zone that would have the least amount of errors. We made this assumption because on main campus you have tall buildings that will cause some sort of error in your collection, similar to multipath interference. From our interpretations, we noticed that there were not campus lights around the boundaries of Texas A&M's campus near George Bush and Texas Avenue. This is because they have street lights that produce enough light to make up for the loss of lamps on campus. There was a dark area on campus designated by the red circle that failed our test of sufficient lighting. This is located closest to the golf course, but across the street from Lot 52. This area had 0 campus lights.
Zone 3 was delineated by the streets Bazell, Asbury, University, and Lubbock. And some notably well-lit areas include Spence Street and Academic Plaza, as you might expect, as they're pretty much in the middle of everything. And one of the notably lacking areas was the courtyard in between Blocker and the Mitchell Physics Building. And another area for improvement would be the engineering activities area in between the CSA and the Commons dorms. And some light bulbs that need replacing include one in front of Nagel Hall in Academic Plaza and one in front of Hal Booty on Spence Street.
The parameters for Zone 4 were between Joe Route, Wellborn, University, and Throckmorton, which turns into Ashbury Road. And in this zone, we found that there were some very well-lit areas like Military Walk and Academic Plaza, and also in the dorm parking lots. But there were also some not so well-lit areas, like down Old Main next to the ILSB building and between the ILSB building, or the ILS building, and the dorms. Many of the lights along Old Main looked close to going out and were considerably dimmer than those that appeared in the same light pole a couple of lights down. These lights were also the incandescent and not the more efficient LED lights like along Military Walk.
Zone 5 was bounded by George Bush, Welborn, Bazell Street, Joe Rutt, and Lubbock Street. In this zone, there was 560 lights, and there's a lot of areas blocked off by construction on the south side, common dorms, and the sides and the back of Duncan Dining Hall and near Lot 40, so the lighting was not able to be mapped in those particular areas. But the areas of Zone 5 that I found to have a fairly small number of light fixtures were Spence Park, Lot 48, Lot 60, Williams Alumni Center, Hagler Center, and the south end zone of Kyle Field near Slocum Nutrition Center. This being said, these areas you would not want to be walking around in at night, and they should not be in your pathway wherever you're going. And some areas with some sufficient amount of light fixtures were Kyle Field's north end zone and in front of the MSC, along Joe Rutt Boulevard, the tunnel going under Welborn, near Southside parking garage and modular dorm areas, and the core dorm areas. And some replacements that were light bulbs out were near the Hagler Center and close to Lot 60.
After collecting our data and analyzing it, we've come to the conclusion that there are many areas on campus that are decently lit, like Military Walk, parking garages, and near the MSC, specifically between the MSC and Kyle Field. But there are also some areas that could be improved, like Lot 40, next to the Old Main, or next to Old Main, near the door, in between the ILS building and the dorms, including the chapel, and also Simpson Drill Field. Some of the problems that we ran into, specifically me, were we were given older GPS. I was given an older GPS model that wouldn't connect to the computer, so we couldn't download our points, which means I had to go out and recollect points with the group members' GPS. There was also construction zones that blocked off much of campus, like the new Kane Garage area and over towards the quad and core dorms. There were also our points were taken at different times, which affects the PDOT, and so some points might not be as accurate as others. And there was also multi-path interference around buildings, specifically in the heart of campus where many of the tall buildings are.
As with any good experiment, we had some issues in determining exactly what it was we were going to measure along the way, and our initial plan turned out to evolve. Our initial goal was to be able to quantify our data in order to attach a degree of urgency to certain areas for improvement. But once we found out how densely placed the lamps were, we realized it wasn't exactly feasible to reach a reliable calculation. especially because whatever calculation we reached, it would have been too arbitrary to tell us anything valuable. Instead, the information we found most valuable were the experiences of walking around and observing the patterns of lighting and how we could possibly improve them for a safer campus.
As college students, we are often out late studying, going to meetings, or doing other typical college kid things. So this issue of lighting first becomes a problem whether or not students feel safe walking across campus at night. Students are more likely to feel safe with better lighting because you are able to be more aware of your surroundings, and predators could hide in the shadows without proper lighting. It is also important to acknowledge safety should be taken very seriously because 23.1% of female and 5.4% of male undergraduate students are victims to sexual assault by violence or physical force. Better lighting means better safety, and this could have a positive impact on that percentage. Even if it's just a minor impact, this is still a good start for the overall safety of the campus body.